22nd of February 2019. Risk management. Humanity is facing a dangerous threat at the present moment, an existential threat. Measures have been taken all over the globe to mitigate this threat. So we are adapting and mitigating this threat. Rich countries will be able to adapt better than poor countries, probably. There is although these measures have been taken, there is what we call a residual risk, existential risk. This concerns everybody. What measures can be taken? Sure, have to have food, shelter, and resources to be able to assure basic needs. Our civilization developed the capacity to stock food at one moment, and as we were able to do that, we could develop more complex technologies, such as space travel, telecommunications, medicine, education. So first you need to assure to have food, which is logic, and a shelter. That would be the first thing to look at, and food hygiene as well. Any community will basically be a number of families or people. There are communities of different sizes. But the important thing is there's this residual existential risk, basically, because life expectancy is at the present moment of about 80 or 90 years, which is a good thing, and it has increased since at some point in time it was 30 years. So progress has been made, but if we want to keep this this evolution, this progress, if we want to stay at this level of progress, we need to think about what we are doing. We need to use the resources we have in an intelligent way, because we're in a system, intertwined system where we are dependent on each other. Europe will be dependent for petrol, for example, on the Middle East. So the question is how to get rid of this existential residual risk, really. Education is one important factor, because there's a big problem with that. Most people have a vision, not most, but some people have a vision of the world which is false. in reality is what it is. So maybe the best thing is to go and observe directly reality, see what's going on, and from there draw conclusions. But do not listen to what people say, indirect information sources. Go and see directly what is going on in your local community, and note down, document what's going on, and then try and take measures from that. Sometimes these measures might be hard. You might have to take hard decisions, but that's what life is like sometimes. So, for example, food, what you can do is agriculture. That's just basic. I mean, that's the basis of anything. If you don't have food, there's no point in anything really. So maybe you can try and do some agriculture. So that requires seeds, soil, and water. And there's permaculture. So the way you start, yeah, and mutual, and the capacity. Yes, that would be the basis. There was one thing that said that how can you live together if we can't eat together? So look in your community and look at the capacity to eat together without having conflict. That's the basis. So maybe sometimes you're a group in a family, so that would be 3 or 4 or 5 people, or as a group in bigger things like 100 people, 200 people. So try and look maybe at the biggest regroupment of people eating together, and look at without conflict. A group of people being able to eat together without having conflict on at least a few weeks, because if one day it's not really significant, and that would be the sign of a community that has experience, knows what it's doing basically, which will be able to last. It is, I guess, hard to encompass reality, to imagine the reality we are in, because the reality we are in was born about 60 galactic years ago. One galactic year would be 250 million years. So that's 16, about, well, I guess about 14 billion years. That was the Big Bang. That's the latest scientific knowledge. That's the last. Some, if they got that wrong, I don't know, but that's what the present supposition is really. So yes, as a human being, I think that this idea of existential residual risk must be reduced. The prime cause of death would be heart diseases, lung diseases. That's the main things really. Domestic accidents as well happen, but on a less statistic level, it's reduced basically. So yes, maybe the next plan would be to be able to eat together without having tensions. Basically, that would be understand if there are tensions, understand why there are tensions. I guess the if you eat, you can either eat outside or inside. That's one thing. What is the food? What is the quality of the food? How many people are eating together? Are the tables? How many tables are there? How many people are eating each table? Where I am, it's like 6 people, 4 people at the tables. There are about 100 places. Um, anyway, so yes, that would be a reflection to have. There's the diseases like sicknesses like grippe. That can happen in winter time. So basic hygiene is important as well. So mutualization, sharing resources, and because inequality that will create tensions as well. But yes, so I'm only one person. I don't pretend to know everything, but basically this idea of existential risk encompasses everything really. Um, to encompass. Because there has to be some kind of a spiritual reflection on things, really. We're not just here to. We've got a conscience. Well, I've got a conscience anyway, and I do at least realise that when I look around me, people are suffering, and anybody can see that basically. And and anybody can understand that basically. So I don't know. Maybe there's about 7 billion people, 7.5 billion people on the planet. Um, so 7.5 billion divided by I don't know 100 people, or 1,007 by 2,000. I don't know. Let's say there's say an average 10,000 places where people feed together on the planet. I need to check this, but and let's try and see if there's tensions in these places, basically. And there's ethno-cultural conflicts as well in these places. Because I'm French, so sometimes there are people from foreign countries, east of Europe, Africa, North Africa, um, West Africa. Um, and these people leave their countries for various reasons, conflicts, work, and things like that. So we basically will always belong to some kind of community, country, identity, whatever, some kind of flag, and we eat with people who are different, different in gender, like male